Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining once more. We had fantastic streams yesterday, 2 streams, and I hope that today's streams will be equally great. Welcome again. I'm Kevin Halterman. I'm from a Belgian company called Lucas Studios. Next to me is my colleague Tom, who is not hiding behind the screens, but he's helping me behind the screens. Maybe it's a bit of an obscure reference, but for that lone Dr. Disrespect fan in chat, you could call him my Alex. For those who don't know Dr. Disrespect, just call him Tom, whatever. Anyway, I'm really excited to talk to you again about Liftoff drone racing. It's a project that we've been working on for a few years. We're finally able to show you what we've made for consoles. But before we do, there's 3 points I do want to make. First point, of course, since this is supposed to be the alternative to Gamescom, we're looking for a bit of community and audience interaction. And the worst thing about showing a game or talking about games is that often there's a bit of a distance between the game as a product and then you as the player. And Gamescom should be all about meeting the developers and talking to us. And so please feel free to ask your questions in chat. I'm more than happy to answer them live on stream. Do know there's at least a 30-minute delay, but so 30-second delay. That's why I have Tom next to me. 30 minutes, that would be crazy. That's about the length of the stream that we planned for today, but likely it's going to be a bit longer. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. I know there's a lot of people from Germany watching. Of course, it is Gamescom, a German event. Feel free to ask your questions in German as well. We have the lovely people from Astragon who are in the chat. They can help translate some of these questions. And of course, again, I did an introduction. I would love to have this interaction, and more than anything, I would love to know if we do in fact have only Germans or maybe people from all around the world. So please let me know in chat where you're from, and maybe also what you would love to see today. I'm looking forward to that. I guess that's one upside to this whole digital eventing. You don't have to travel to Germany, Cologne to join in. This is becoming a worldwide thing, so that's fantastic. The next point is related to that a bit. So there's nothing more that I would love to do than to shake your hand, give you the controller, and let you play the game live on a booth. Unfortunately, that's not possible, and it's also quite complex for us to show live footage from a console, especially when the game is still a bit in development. So we had to pre-record all the footage. That being said, and that's a promise, none of this footage has been edited. In fact, it's hardly been selected. We just recorded and we use what we recorded. And in fact, there's another promise I can make on that. Often when a game gets shown before release, what you often notice is that it looks a bit better in the demo than what you eventually get in the retail version. And in our case, it will be the opposite. Some of the footage that was recorded was done in a test version, where some of our graphics effects had been turned down for testing reasons. These, of course, will be turned on again in the retail version, so it should look even better than what we show you today. And then let's see. Yeah, of course, another point, and that's one that I made earlier. We missed that community interaction, and I asked you to introduce yourself. I introduced myself, and Tom showed his hand. But of course, there's a lot more people working on the game. And when I say a lot more, we're actually a small company. There's 8 people at Lucas Studios. And since we want this to be a game where, these are the people behind it, we have some footage ready. Maybe you can show that, Tom? Yep. So, Lucas Studios. I mean, I tell you that we show the team, but you see a lot of drone stuff. That's not an accident. We have been working on drone-related game projects for more than 5 years now. When I see this footage, I feel inclined to also say that this was recorded before the whole pandemic. So, of course, we stay safe. In fact, we have been working from home, like many of you, these past few months. But we're in a lucky position. Like for game development, that's we miss the team element, but it's perfectly possible to do some game development from home. I do hope we get back soon, back together. I mean, let's see. I already see a remark or question in chat, which is great. So feel free to ask questions in chat anytime. I'm happy to answer them live on the stream. So I get a question from Nico. Any plans for an online leaderboard for solo race? Can be nice to compare times with other pilots. A cool suggestion. I do have to say that what we have currently implemented, there's definitely a leaderboard, but it's only for multiplayer sessions, I'm afraid. But thank you for that suggestion. We'll keep that in mind. So yeah, one thing to know about Liftoff on any platform, because we have had Liftoff on PC for 5 years. Now it's coming to console. We're always looking for community feedback and suggestions, and we continue to update the games. Yeah, so that was a quick clip of Lucas. But of course, this stream is called Liftoff Drone Racing. I've been rambling about the team, about what we do, but let's talk about drone racing, right? So with me, I have a race drone. This is it's a really old one. This is called the Vortex 285. It was one of the first big mainline racing drones. It has 4 motors and propellers, and that's why they often call it a quadcopter. But most importantly, it has a camera in front. And the pilots, they wear goggles. I have an example of that. These are what they look a bit like VR goggles, but they're not. They're called Fpv Goggles, and by the way, FPV stands for first person view. And this is absolutely amazing. Like it's almost, this is 5-year-old technology, yet it still sounds and looks like it's part of the future. Pilots can see exactly what the drones see when they wear these goggles, and it's almost like the dream of flying becoming reality, and it's really cool. But of course, this is a real drone. Let's show you what drone racing in Liftoff looks like. So this is let's say quite an experienced Liftoff player who's flying in the level that we call the Liftoff Arena, which is a sports arena, as you can see. What he does here, or she, is it's quite impressive. I mean, and that's the point with Liftoff. It's a very realistic simulator, meaning that at least on PC, and it's going to be a bit different on console, and I'll tell you about that. On PC, there's a bit of a learning curve. Like you need a few days before you feel comfortable on hitting the racetracks. But on console, we want to make it more of a pick up and play experience. So anyway, that was racing. We'll also show freestyle. Again, equally impressive as the race footage, if not more. This is in a level that we call Bando City. Bando standing for abandoned buildings, which is like a term that pilots use, and this is just crazy. Again, I said this yesterday, and I've tried it again last evening. Yeah, of course, there's also some crashing involved. What they did there, like the elevator dive, it's crazy. I can't do it, but I'm confident when we release the game that we'll see hundreds of videos from you where you show me that you have those skills. Some other freestyle in a level that we call Hanover. So for the Germans among you, there's a famous Hanover Messe, the fairgrounds. That's also available in Liftoff as a level, both in the day and night version. Anyway, so that was a bit of just regular flight footage. Let's talk about the console version. And before I do, I do see, oh, Nighttime Burnout. Hey Max, thank you for joining in. So Max, Nighttime Burnout has a question. What's the theoretical fastest quad you can build in Liftoff, and what is its top speed? I don't know, man. I never built the fastest quad. I build the quads that I can fly. I'm not a good pilot. I can finish races. My strategy is making sure I don't crash, and often the fastest pilots, they take a lot of risks, so they crash before the finish line, and then on my slow pace, I can reach that finish line and still get the golden, the first prize. So that's my strategy. I don't build fast quads. That being said, there's a big strategy in how you can build fast quads, and there's a lot of that going on in the community. And that's actually one of the things that we're going to talk about today on stream. So yesterday we talked about tutorials, progression, the career mode. Today we're going to talk more about the customization features in Liftoff. So I'm afraid I can't answer that question, but I'm sure someone from the community can give you some suggestions. So thank you for that. Another question from Nico. Oh no, that's a response, so thank you for the reply. You're more than welcome. Again, if you have more questions, don't hesitate. And Nico is from Belgium. Hey, where from Belgium? Let me know. So anyway, let's talk about Liftoff drone racing on consoles, right? So I hinted at the fact that Liftoff has been available on PC, so that's Windows, Mac and Linux since 2015 on Steam. And it's a true simulator. It means there's a bit of a learning curve, but we've been super excited to work together with Astragon on a console version. And it's not a straight port of what's available on PC. In fact, we wanted to make sure it's a true console experience. And you see that from the start, from the main menu. For Liftoff fans, they will instantly see, well, this looks a bit different. The game has a complete new look and feel, and there's also a new soundtrack actually made by Nighttime Burnout. So Max, who just asked the question about what's the fastest quad, super talented artist. I'm super excited to have his soundtrack in the game, and I'm sure you will enjoy it as well. And if you do play the game later on this year, because it's coming out still in 2020, let us know how you feel about it. So yeah, it's not just a new look and feel. There's a whole bunch of exclusive console features, all made to make this a more pick up and play experience. So in single player, we have a completely revamped tutorial where a famous pilot called Joshua Bardwell he has a big YouTube channel. He's your mentor. Cool thing is, his nickname within the community is the FPV Know-It-All, and he's a bit of a know-it-all in the game as well, but that's perfectly appropriate. It's great. One of his catchphrases as well is, "You're gonna learn something today." Well, definitely also in Liftoff. There's a career mode where we introduce the history of drone racing. And where you start in 2015, you evolve every year and you unlock the technology that was available in each year. But most of all, playing that career mode is about progressing. And let's show a bit of that progression. So we'll show you a clip of someone who picked up the game for the first time, or at least one of his first races in a level that we call Pine Valley. It's the nighttime version. So by the way, every level that you see has both a day and a nighttime version in the console version. Something that's available on PC, but nighttime comes as a DLC. On console, that's all included in the standard package. Of course, you see the flight here. It's in third-person view. It's a bit clumsy, but yet this looks really impressive to me, because for the longest time, we've seen people struggle in the first hours of playing, and the fact that this pilot is instantly able to fly this racetrack and get a place on the leaderboard, that's really cool. You have instant fun, and it motivates you to continue and get better and improve your skills. This pilot is flying a new mode, again exclusive to the console version, that we call the assisted flight mode. So what that does is the game takes care of the altitude control. So you as a pilot can focus on the actual track and about your position within the race. And it's also tuned to work great with the game controller. And so what we've tried to do is we talk to a lot of gamers and said, like, okay, if you have a racing game and you want to go forward, what do you press? What would you press? And normally a pilot, they would work with the joysticks. They would use one of these things. But gamers, we noticed they use the triggers. And so what we try to do is match what feels natural to a gamer and then link that with the flight mechanics. So of course, this is beginner footage. Let's show the same player a few weeks later. Very impressive. I mean, he surpassed my skills by a long shot. This is in a level called The Green. It's a golf course. And this is first person, so no third person camera. There's no assisted flight, so this is what we call the authentic mode, and he's flying exactly like a real pilot would fly a real drone. There's no altitude control, no hand holding. So all of these all these things are optional. So of course, I can talk a lot more about this whole progression thing, but that's something we have focused on yesterday. If you're interested in that, feel free to check out our previous streams, or feel free to ask questions about that, and I'm happy to answer them. Today we're going to focus more on customization. But before we do, maybe, because we did show it yesterday, but we do have a short clip of the career mode, and that should give you a bit of that should whet the appetite, maybe. So that was a short clip showing you the career mode. Maybe for those who just joined, I'm Kevin. I'm excited to show you Liftoff drone racing today. Yesterday we talked a lot about this career mode and the progression in the game. Today we're going to show and talk a bit about the customization features, more specifically what we call the workbench in game. But before we do, I got a notification in chat from GTech FPV. Hey again, thank you for joining again. In the current PC version, the fastest possible quad flies at a 223 kilometers an hour maximum. So that's a nice response to the question from Nighttime Burner. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm not surprised, it's quite fast, but yeah, thank you for that. So anyone that joins, if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask it in chat. I'm more than happy to answer it live. Of course, there's a bit of a delay. I said 30 minutes last time, but it's 30 seconds, so don't worry about that. Don't hesitate to do so. Anyway, let's talk about customization. That's one of the cornerstones of Liftoff. So, of course, the drone racing hobby, it's all about the flying, but in reality, only 20 or 30% of the time are pilots actually flying. The other time, they are fixing their drone, tuning it, to make it fly faster, to make it sturdier, sometimes just to pimp it visually. And all of that is also available in game. So I think we can show a clip of that. Let's see, workbench. Of course, customization, like anything in the game, is optional. So we have pre-built setups, like you can see here. You have your fleet, those that you have created, and the blueprints, those are all ready to fly from the start. So if you're not into the whole tuning thing, don't worry about that. There's a lot of content in the game. So before I talk about these squads, I mean there's 12 different environments in Liftoff. All have their day and night version. There's in the career mode there's 5 seasons, each with 12 racetracks, so 60 racetracks in total. And then related to the drones that you see in game, there's 25 unique frames, all licensed brands, such as Immersion RC that you saw. This is, by the way, an Immersion RC quad that's in the game. We have frames from Road Ride, we have from Armaton, X-Hover, Carrieria, Flight Test, and so many more. So I mean, it's really cool to see these drones in game. And in fact, our artists have gone crazy in getting all these little details right. Every little detail is in there, up to the point that you can sometimes on the carbon fiber see fingerprints if you carefully look for that. And so all the customization impacts the way your drone flies, as I said. There's millions of unique combinations possible, and that flight behavior is not scripted, it's all simulated. So we have a very, very deep and complex simulation system going on behind the scenes. So the way your quad flies is, and you see some are slower, others are faster, are a combination of your of the weight of your quad, of the thrust values that your motors and propellers generate with the power that you get from the LiPo. There's antennas that you can change, cameras, you can even put action cams on it, and that impacts the weight of the quad. In fact, an action cam, it's not just a cosmetic thing. If you activate an action cam on your quad, then you get extra points in the freestyle game mode that's in the game. So all of that is being simulated. More so, we also take into account some aerodynamic properties, and our simulation is so authentic that some research institutes even use Liftoff as a research platform. So we consider that a big compliment. That was just the quad that you saw. And it's not just functional changes. In fact, I think you can change, we have skins in the game, something I'm going to talk about more. You can also change colors, but we do get a point. Oh, well, GTAG FPV says that he's actually fixing quads while watching the stream. So I guess that's my point about, well, pilots are not always flying. More often than not, they're actually fixing their quads, because you do crash these things. And I mean, some quads are a bit more expensive than others, a few $100 you could say, but you will crash them in real life. And that's the cool thing about a simulator like Liftoff. You can just press the reset button and you can continue flying. And the biggest compliment we always get from our players is that, yes, they paid for the game, but it's the best investment they ever made in the hobby, because it has saved them thousands of dollars by crashing less with their real hardware. So although Liftoff very much is a game that you can just buy and have fun with, either by flying the career mode against bots or flying against your friends in multiplayer, some really use it as a training tool as well. So that's an added bonus. So if you can fly in the authentic mode, be sure you have a heads up when you start flying a real drone. So yeah, another level, by the way, the pit. I mean, you've seen some footage of drones being edited, etc. I mean, there's a lot more I can say about that. Again, it's about functional changes, it's cosmetic changes, and that's another part of that. Not all pilots are like that. Some are. Some tune their quads for pure performance. Others just want to show off, and we consider the quads in Liftoff to be a bit of your flying trophy room, and that's really important to us. And so, as we are nearing the end of the stream session, there's something cool that we want to reveal. It's never before shown, but before I do, just quickly want to check if there's any more questions. Okay, not yet. So feel free. I mean, we said we would stream for 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. We'll just continue for a few more. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. There's a bit of a delay in chat and what I see, but I'm more than happy to answer them. And for those who just joined, although we're nearing the end, I just want to say hello. I'm Kevin. Next to me is my colleague Tom. We're from Lugus Studios, and we've been showing Liftoff drone racing for consoles. So Liftoff drone racing is coming out this year still for PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It's a project that we're super excited about, super proud about. For those who can't wait to try it out on consoles, there's also a version available on PC. But I can very much recommend this console version. It's, in my experience, just having that enjoyment in the comfort of my sofa, that's a premium experience. So yeah, okay, so let's jump to the reveal. So there is a deluxe edition of the game. So the game will be available as a digital download. We consider that the classic version, but there's also in the retail stores there will be a deluxe edition. That includes some of these cosmetic skins that we talked about. And I do have to say, when I talk about skins, I can promise you there's no in-game store, there's no microtransactions, nothing like that. Everything that's in the game everyone can unlock, not by paying, just by playing. So we consider cosmetic items rewards for playing, just like you would open or discover a treasure chest in another game and there's a cool new sword or new armor in there. In Liftoff, that's new drone skins, and all of these skins are purely cosmetic, so they don't impact the way your quad flies. So that's really important. But anyway, let's show the first deluxe edition exclusive skin. So we have 2 epic skins in the deluxe edition and 2 legendary skins, in addition to all these hundreds of other skins that you can unlock. The 2 epic skins, well, this is the first one. In fact, this is a skin designed by our friends at Astragon. It looks really cool. It's for the Armaton Chameleon frame. I think this is really cool looking. It's a good example of how you can show off with some fancy visuals. In fact, we get another question from David. Any potential dates for the console release? All I can say at this point is still this year, so that's very short. And I know that then you might wonder, well, why don't you have an exact date? I'm sure we will have one revealed very soon, but this year still. Again, if you can't wait for the console version yet, you can always try out the PC version. The console version is definitely going to be worth the wait as well. So okay, let's show you the next epic skin. This one is in collaboration with Rotorite, and in fact the following 2 are Rotorite skins as well. For pilots or Liftoff fans, they don't need an explanation. For people just joining in, Rotorite is a massive community. It's the biggest community within the drone in the drone racing world, although freestyle as well, of course. You could compare them a bit like the Top Gear of the drone world. They have cool, awesome YouTube channel, great pilots. I mean, definitely check them out. we've worked with them to create for you this exclusive content. So this is the sale one is actually a frame designed by them and that you can buy from their store, but this is completely stickered with their logo. It's very cool looking. So these two are the epic skins, and epic skins we consider like reprints or printed frames. We have legendary skins, and they change up the way the frame looks just from well, the geometry itself. So let's show you the first legendary skin. So this is, I mean, this looks really cool, almost like a UFO, right? It's the disc is shaped like the Rotorite logo again on the Seal 1. So while the previous one was a Seal 1, you can definitely see how big of a difference is. Really cool. But I'm most excited about the next one, and I do have to say, we have hundreds of skins in the game already, and we've had them for many years. This one might be the coolest skin we've ever made, and I definitely want one. Yeah, show it, Tom. So it's an actual flying skull, and I do have to say it looks super cool. Maybe to some it looks a bit silly, but all the skins that we design, again, they are purely cosmetic, but they're designed in a way that someone might be able to recreate those in real life. And although this might be a difficult one, since it's all carbon fiber, it's not pure fantasy, so it would be possible. But the coolest feature yet is, of course, flames, right? That's what excites me. Imagine doing a dogfight in a race and then getting passed by this one. I mean, that's pure rock and roll, right? So I'm super excited about this one. I'm super proud of our artists for making such cool skins. And most of all, I want to thank again once more our publisher Astragon, who helped us design the first skin that we showed, and of course our friends at Rotorite, who came up with some cool concepts for the Rotorite skins. So this is what they look like in game all together. There's even an antenna skin and a few propellers that go well with the Astragon skin. So well, that's what you get extra in the deluxe edition. So yeah, let's see if there's any more questions. No? Well, okay, that was I guess that was it for us today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do still have questions later on, we stream again in a few more hours. I don't know the exact time. 7 Brussels time. So in a few hours, if you want to be sure, check the Gamescom schedule. Maybe our friends from Astragon can give you that time as well in the chat. So if you do have questions, feel free to join in then. And of course, if you want to know more about the progression, the tutorial, the career mode, we showed a lot about that in yesterday's stream. So feel free to rewatch those. I think they're saved online, so they should still be available. And so yeah, thank you again for joining. I want to finish this with our announcement trailer. It's a bit old now. It's CG, but the reason why I want to end with this is because I think it's super cool. I get goosebumps each time I see it, and I think it's just a cool way to end the stream. So thank you once more, and maybe see you soon.